Welcome back to another episode of Life with Lamb, take two. I don't know why my audio stopped, but today I'm here with Alan. How are you going?
Good, thanks. Hello. How you doing?
Good, good. Thank you for hopping down into the studio. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for inviting me in.
How you been? How was your day?
Not too bad. I had work this morning actually, and then which is a little bit grueling because I do early shifts for work, but work, and then had training at Training Day Burwood just before, and then now I'm here.
Yeah, awesome. Where do you work?
I work at IKEA in Richmond. I actually work two jobs at the moment. So one of them's IKEA in Richmond, and then the other one is Spice Temple, which is a restaurant in South Bank in the city. So yeah, quite a little bit of work at the moment. I'm not really studying too much right now, but that's why I've decided to pick up a bit more work. So
yeah, amazing. And how are you finding juggling all that?
It was definitely quite busy at the start because when I first started working these two jobs, which was about a similar time, was I think start of April, and I was taking on a lot of shifts, which was really doing my immune system in. And I actually got sick for like a month.
Oh damn.
Yeah, so working heaps, trying to lift as well on top of that, and I lost a lot of body weight as well just from being sick, obviously. But at this point now, I've learned to manage how much workload I can take and balance it together with training as well.
Yeah, definitely. So, I think that's as we were chatting off air, one of the ultimate goals is how do you balance work life, social life, and training as well, and investing in yourself. So
yeah, definitely.
It's good that you're finding a bit of a balance. And I guess, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty decent right now. It's been a pretty full-on year, just with a lot of stuff going on, a lot of changes, going through some low moments, and I think everyone goes through that, but I guess it's always, the fight to come out the other side, and I'm glad that I've gone through that. Yeah,
definitely. Love to see it, and hopefully we'll get to understand a bit more about that. Is this your first podcast?
Yeah, definitely. First podcast. So,
jeez, we've snatched him up. We've snatched him up. Oh my god, snatched him up. I can't even talk, man. Alan Zhou.
All a bit nervous here.
Yeah, I know. I'm a bit nervous because like we were saying before, know each other a bit on the surface. Yeah. Haven't really been able to sit down and have a chat with you, but you seem like a cool guy and very strong as well.
Yeah, likewise.
Appreciate it. So we've only met twice.
Yeah,
we were saying Burwood, and then at my first comp, which you just competed in the morning flight, I think.
Yeah. So I was coming off, and then you were warming up.
Yeah, definitely. We're both powerlifters.
Yep.
But which we'll get into. But I guess what else has been happening recently?
Right now I've just signed up to do my Cert 3 and 4 in fitness. I'm looking to do some online coaching and get some experience in providing powerlifting coaching for other people. I've definitely learned the value of coaching through my own coach, Chris Yip. We've been working together for about, I think, 2 years now, so quite a while actually, because I've been lifting for 5.5 years total, and we've made lots of progress through that, and yeah, definitely.
And it shows as well. You're a beast.
Thank you, man.
How old are you?
I'm 21.
21, okay. And that's 3 years out of high school, or 4 years?
4, I think 4 years.
Yeah, sweet. Did you go to uni as well?
Yeah, so I just finished my Bachelor of Science at Uni Melb.
Sweet.
So I just finished up my last subject the first half of this year. Yeah, so freed up a lot of my time.
Yeah, now, definitely. Yeah. Uni just chews up so much of it. Yeah. How'd you find it? And why science, I guess?
Science, I initially got into it just because I think after school, I wasn't really sure which direction I wanted to take. And to be honest, I think a majority of the reason is a lot of the kids around me were going to either science or commerce. So I was I've done a lot more of the science subjects. I may as well just get into that and see how we go from there. So I majored in physiology, did a lot of the subjects around the body, physiology, anatomy, and that kind of stuff, which I think I found relatively interesting. It lines up definitely with powerlifting, and it's good to learn the body, so that you learn mechanics and how to
leverage
lift efficiently.
yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're both powerlifters. Like I said before, I can imagine. Yeah, I feel like that'd be so interesting. Like that, I feel like if I was to take science, because I'm a commerce kid.
Oh, okay.
Like I just could not picture myself learning about, like, I don't know, science in general. But I feel like if I was to pick a subject, it'd definitely be like anatomy and learning like how the body works and the body mechanics. So
Yeah.
are you glad it's up, like finished?
I'm glad it's finished. Yeah, I'm looking to potentially do physiotherapy next year. I've made applications for it, but at the moment I'm still like quite undecided and just trying to take things one step at a time.
Yeah, fair enough. Where would you normally study physiotherapy?
Physiotherapy. I've applied for Melbourne. I think there are a couple spots around that you can do, like Latrobe. I know Chris is doing Fed Uni, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I think he's out in the wilderness.
I guess that's a tough thing because like a lot of them you got to go, here and there.
Yeah, far and wide, I guess. Yeah, and so freed up a lot of your time.
Yep.
Do you feel like it was very draining doing uni and balancing everything else, or?
Definitely. I reckon the first couple years or so, it wasn't as bad because there were more the foundation subjects. A lot of it was just repeating year 12 stuff like bio, chemistry, which I sucked out. But I'm glad that's over. But yeah, I think getting towards the last couple of years, you get into some more interesting subjects and yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Did you enjoy your uni experience?
I think it wasn't because majority of my uni experience was during lockdown, obviously.
Yeah.
So it's basically just all online learning, submitting tasks online and all that stuff. So I feel like maybe I didn't have as much of a uni experience as I could have, but yeah. It wasn't too bad. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Now, let's get into your lifting. When did you start?
So I started lifting back at the start of year 11, I think. Yeah. So the school that I went to was really fortunate we got a new sports complex, and at the time we got a new gym and everything. Before then, I'd never really stepped foot in a gym before. I think before I was just too scared, honestly, to get in there and
aren't we all?
yeah, that's right. Just like don't know what I'm doing,
Yeah, literally.
But I guess over time, just researching online, following the big influencers at the time, I picked up a few things along the way, and also developed a love for strength training, because at the start I think I got into it just wanting to look a little bit better, be a little bit stronger. And I think how I got into powerlifting was that I didn't really know how to track my progress, and then I guess I realized you could play this numbers game of doing powerlifting and like just hitting the biggest number possible. So I was like, oh, that seems like a pretty easy choice for me.
Yeah, definitely. I think powerlifting is like one of the best quantitative measures of like strength, I guess. Like it's literally the sport for strength as well.
Yeah. Like I still have a pretty big love of bodybuilding and aesthetics and all that stuff. But at the beginning I was just thinking, how do I quantify my progress? It's a bit difficult,
Yeah, definitely. Do you have a preference?
Or between
bodybuilding and powerlifting?
It's hard to say, honestly, because I love being strong and I love hitting PRs and big numbers and stuff, but I also really like the aesthetic side and just like I guess the byproduct of like looking better through building muscle. So I think I'd have to say powerlifting just because
I think it's a very satisfying thing as well, and like bodybuilding, like you're never you're never there, like there's always something that you're like, oh, I could work on that, and stuff. But I guess you could say the same as powerlifting. Who inspired you? Like you talk about influences and like all the OGs, like what top 3 people come into mind?
Top 3, definitely Russ Swole. He was a big one.
Oh, huge. Yeah. He's still like
he's still really
like killing it. Far out.
He's just getting bigger and bigger. Russ Swole, I think. top three is hard. I'd say Omar Isuf was one of the early ones as well. His content was just really engaging and like entertaining, I guess. And who else? Man,
So many to choose from.
I think a big one definitely would be K Bowie. Have you heard of him?
No, I haven't.
No, I guess he's a bit of like a hometown hero. He's like from around Melbourne. He was just, I think the attention from him was just, he would always like, he's a big deadlift guy. So he'd always be pulling deadlift, massive numbers and conventional as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think he's one of those guys who's sort of like, conventional.
Yeah.
You
sumo, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't get the mechanics for conventional, like, it's pretty wild.
I think conventional is definitely like, it'd be better for building the actual muscles, but like, because we're all out here trying to play the game. You know, sumo is a bit of an obvious answer.
Exactly. Definitely.
Yeah.
And talk to us about the timeline of your training, I guess, like start of year 11, fresh, walked into the gym, didn't really know what you were doing. And then year by year, how did you progress from there?
So I think, I forgot to mention, but I think the actual first time that I stepped foot into a gym was Fitness First in Doncaster. They used to have these programs for high school kids.
Oh, nice.
In the holidays. So my mates would just rock up there, and then I guess, because we're all together messing around, we'd just, get used to the environment, get used to using the weights. Yeah. And so when I actually got into the school gym and eventually signed up at another gym outside, which is Good Life, I had a little bit more experience under my belt. So yeah, I was pretty much just doing 5x5s for a really long period at the beginning. Classic. Because yeah, I really wanted to chase strength, and it was the only way that I knew. Like, one of my friends told me about it, and I was like, okay, I'll just 5x5 all my squat, bench, and deadlift. And then through lockdown, I'd say lockdown was the period where my strength actually started to progress, or progress pretty fast, because that was the period I would say that Chris actually found, Chris, my coach, he found me on, or I found him, and then I followed him, and I think we followed each other. And then he was actually looking for someone to coach, like to get a bit of experience for himself at the time. So I was like, I'll definitely,
I'll be a guinea pig.
Yeah, exactly. I saw
definitely.
his Instagram page, like 60 something kilos, deadlifting 280 for reps, and I was like,
this guy, is actually insane.
maybe I'll get to that level if I get under his wing.
Yeah, definitely. So during lockdown, you approached Chris, or Chris approached you, and it went from there?
Yeah, so he pretty much just DM'd me on Instagram. It was like, sorry.
No, you're okay.
He was like, hey, I'm just looking to get a bit of coaching experience, and I think, you would be a suitable person to work with.
Wow,
so
he's been noticed.
Yeah. I was like, wow, like, why is this guy like?
Yeah, you can imagine how special you would have felt as well. Like,
definitely, yeah. So, yeah, we started working together in lockdown, which was definitely new to me, because like I guess at the time I never realized you could do training or like programming that wasn't 5x5. Yeah, so we've done a lot of things since then, and yeah, as I said, we've been working together for 2 years now. I had my first so at the time I didn't really consider myself a powerlifter. I was still kind of doing, or putting equal amounts of effort into compound lifts as well as the accessories, just to try to look good as well. But I think working with Chris is when it really started to propel me into powerlifting, because obviously that's what he does. And at the time I thought, I think he gave me a lot of confidence as well. He was like, he gave me a lot of confidence to just, play around with powerlifting and try to get better at squat, bench, and deadlift. And eventually, last May, I believe, was when I did my first powerlifting meet.
Mm.
So that one was the Peninsula Equilibrium Open. So went down to Peninsula and actually did pretty well for my first comp. We went 9 for 9, and then I think we hit PRs in like almost every lift, something like that. Yeah.
What are the numbers, if you don't mind me asking? Do you remember?
So I'm pretty sure my body weight was like 74.3, something like that.
Mm.
Squat 207,
Jeez.
bench 147, and then deadlift 255, which I was really I think I surprised myself, because I guess being in front of a crowd really does something to your performance.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm
The
not sure if you
adrenaline
felt
that you
that.
get. Yeah, adrenaline is like so key. But like, oh yeah, I remember just like at comps and stuff, there's like this nervousness, but like a lot of excitement as well when you just get in front of that crowd, and when they're all screaming at you
For
like
sure.
up and everything. It's just like, I think, a very surreal feeling.
Yeah. And even people you're competing up against.
Oh, so supportive.
Yeah,
like, how have you
exactly.
found the powerlifting community? Because like that's how we met as well. Like,
Yeah.
so supportive of one another.
Powerlifting community in Melbourne's pretty amazing. Yeah.
Mm.
I've met quite a few people through training day at Burwood. And yeah, everyone's just really supportive. Everyone's, especially at meets, as we said, everyone's just cheering people on, even if that's a person that you're competing up against.
Yeah, definitely. I think like everyone really, really uplifts each other and like truly cares about like the numbers that you hit, because at the end of the day, like, you're competing for yourself, and like, yeah, medals and totals are all great and stuff, but it's like, what can you do to better yourself on that day as well? How is, because you when did you take a break from like lifting and everything?
So I took a little bit of a break, I'd say, I think around March this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was... Oh, I didn't really take a break. I actually took a break from getting coaching from Chris, because actually, funnily enough, at the time, I just didn't really... in a way, I guess I kind of felt like I was wasting his time if I wasn't really there to put the effort in. So I said, Chris, I think it's good if I just take a little bit of time to myself. And it was a bit of a wild period, because I also signed up for another meet during that period, which is the one that we met each other at.
Oh, really? Yeah.
We saw each other, yeah, the last one.
Had you done any meets during that period? Like, or was that your first one and then this one was your second one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So only the two proper meets.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I signed up to that one about 4 weeks out. So
Oh, jeez.
yeah, it was I don't know, a little bit impulsive, but then I was like, I guess I was just trying to qualify as well, because I was looking at the potential to compete at states and nats and all that. So I was like, oh, I'll just do this regional one here. Did my own programming for 4 weeks, which didn't really go too well, because I think with all the fatigue and mental stress and I guess expecting too much of myself, like not being realistic with my programming for myself, it wasn't amazing, but I guess I still had fun on the day though, which was, it was good.
That's probably like one of the most important things in powerlifting, like making sure that you have fun on the day when you're competing. So
yeah, for sure.
How'd that day go?
Well, yeah, squats were a little bit messy, because I think one of my attempts, my handler and I, we couldn't get my attempt in on time, so I ended up doing the 2.5 increment. But yeah, it was alright. Bench, I benched. Oh, sorry, I'll give you the numbers as well from what I remember. Yeah, so 210 on squat, 150 on bench, and then I think like 245 on deadlift. Deadlift was really bad, because my first attempt was basically like a conventional, like wide stance conventional. Like,
oh, really?
There was no technique, so I pulled it at like an RP 8 or above.
Yeah, so you would have like fatigued yourself for the other two lifts.
Yeah,
Fair.
but yeah. I guess, yeah, it was still definitely a very uplifting environment. So despite not really knowing what I was doing in the lead up to that competition, I guess still ended up being fun on the day. Yeah.
Definitely. How is yours and Chris's relationship with one another? I guess, like, how did he take you, saying, "Look, I'm gonna step back a little bit," but then go off and compete in another comp? I guess.
Yeah, Chris is he was very understanding, I think, at the time. I definitely expressed to him a lot, like, my frustration with training and my performance, and I also obviously having him as my coach, I try to give him as much information about what's going on in my life as well. So yeah, it was just going through a lot of stuff mentally at the time as well, which was quite challenging, and obviously I think that is what led to me taking the break from getting coaching with him. But he was really supportive. He was just like, if this is what you think is right for you, that's cool, but, like, you're always welcome back for coaching with me.
Yeah, amazing. And I guess that goes to show, like, how uplifting the powerlifting community is. Like, they're not going to hold a grudge against you for stepping out on them or prioritizing yourself.
Definitely.
Talk to us about this break. It was pretty huge. I guess, like, first time talking about it with you. Anyway.
For the break, I guess throughout this whole year, I've been, I guess you could say, working through a breakup which happened, like, in February, and I've just been trying to work things out on myself as well, and just figuring out what I wanted to do with my life, because I think at the time, like, I relied a lot on this person to sort of just, like, I guess fill up my time and effort and that kind of thing. So yeah, definitely challenging, I think. I don't know, man. I'm just trying to think of how to word it. But
no, you're okay. So this breakup, and thank you for talking about it as well.
Yeah, of course.
Led to you pulling out of states, and I guess, like, giving up or postponing something that you started to fall in love with. How was that experience for you?
I think, with all that happening, it was just, I think this all kind of happens, like, within a similar period. Honestly, the time period is, like, a little bit cloudy in my head, but it was also, I think, going through this breakup, I took on the 2 jobs during, like, start of April as well, and I think in a way I was trying to use that as sort of like a just to distract myself from everything that was going on, just, I guess through it all, I just reached a point where I just wasn't sure what I was doing, and, like, was having a lot of trouble trying to find purpose and meaning in that kind of thing. Obviously it wasn't helping that powerlifting was probably one of my only means of escape, or, like, getting away from reality, that it wasn't going well either. So definitely a pretty tough period, and I think that's also why I decided to pull out of states, which I was meant to do. But
I guess describe yourself as a kid. Like, what were you like growing up? Have you always had, like, because I remember you talking about, like, how Chris has given you a lot of confidence as well. Like, was that as a person or just in your lifting?
So I'd say Chris and I are actually pretty similar people, and, like, we've talked about it too. Like, I guess every time we catch up, we're kind of amazed that we're almost on the same sort of page in our life, working through the same sort of things. Growing up, I was definitely more introverted and didn't really reach out to people that much. I think I was also quite self-critical a lot of the times, and internalized a lot of negativity, criticism from other people as well. So I guess, I wanted to do powerlifting because I guess it, obviously it was fun for me, and then kind of gave me some purpose. But yeah, I guess, growing up, having that sort of personality where I just constantly, be self-attacking, I guess that's sort of feeds into powerlifting as well, where when things are going well, I'm like really happy and that's all great. But when things aren't going the way that I want it to, I guess I'm always really super analytical and trying to figure out what is wrong. And I get like pretty emotional as well. I'm sure you understand what it's like to like fail a lift and then just yell out of frustration.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it's like as cliche as it might sound, like sometimes when you fail those lifts and numbers that like you might normally hit, or you're like going for a PR and like you feel like you've put in all the work, it can be really like you start to reflect it back to yourself, like, am I good enough? Like, am I working hard enough? Like, am I worth it as well? And you ask those questions. And I know this is like gym, and some people might be like what the fuck are you talking about, Jaden? But it's like with little things, as like all things as well. Like you think of people who play piano, like for concerts and those sorts of things. They mess up a note and then they start to doubt themselves. And I guess even high achieving athletes and people in their jobs as well, one fuck up and like you start to evaluate your life. And I guess I listen a lot to like Dylan Friends, which is he's a podcaster, ex-footy player. Talks a lot about how like he'd let all his games like define himself. Like if he had a good game, he'd be like on top of the world. Had a bad one, or like didn't get a kick, like felt shit about himself. And that like I guess echoed over into his relationships and stuff. So you sound like you go through those things, and like I go through those things as well. What are some things that you've learned about yourself and like how to cope with these things, I guess?
Well, I think I'll start off with that question by saying having Chris there as a coach and sort of just as a mentor, and like as a mentor in general, he's definitely been there through those moments that I find myself in, like harsh, over critical of your performance, and I guess attaching it to your self-worth as well, that kind of thing. So having him there has been immensely helpful. Every time I go through that kind of thing, I find it really easy to express it to him, and he definitely gives me the sort of advice that I think I need to hear during those times.
Shout out Chris.
Yeah, shout out Chris, definitely. But yeah, I think what actually happens during those times is and it's something that I've sort of learned to a way that I've learned to think about it is I'll sort of have whatever the failed lift is, and then I'll have like a little bit of a moment of frustration, and sometimes I might like I get super emotional, so sometimes I might just be like fuck it, I'm just going home, yeah. But I think after like 5-10 minutes or so, like I regain myself, like recollect myself, actually think about what happened and the potential things that may have led to that. A lot of external factors to training, like fatigue, or work, sleep, sort of going through those things and understanding maybe why that happened, and sort of just taking, like, I know it's easier said than done, but just trying to take your emotions away from training, that's helped me a lot. And like I'll think about those things, and sometimes I'll even just talk to Chris about it, and he can help work me through those things as well, and make me realize, oh, maybe this is why it didn't go too well today. It calms me down a lot. Yeah, definitely. And then helps me understand, and
Yeah, definitely.
I guess practicing that over and over again, like through each time you have a failed lift, or like something doesn't go the way you want, it gets easier to do, and you sort of like you're able to think about it more logically.
Yeah, definitely. What are like some of the questions or things that you sort of like find yourself relaying back after, say, like a failed attempt or something bad happens in your life? Like, have you been able to use this in your everyday life as well, would you say?
Yeah, as of lately, I think taking that concept and just trying to apply it to any time I feel like I've done something wrong, or I've disappointed myself. Just trying to think about what, I guess, stop dwelling on the things that I didn't do, because I've spent plenty of time doing that, and just constantly bashing myself in for like, oh, you didn't do this, and then this led to this, or stuff like that. Rather than that, just trying to actually focus on the things that you can do about your situation, and like maybe taking more preventative measures from letting those things happen again. I've learned that it can be like, definitely a lot more productive to think about things that way. And this one, another thing which I think is a little bit harder to do is to kind of think about just the idea that being sad and disappointed over something, it doesn't really get you anywhere, and like you feel bad about it. So I kind of ask myself, like, what is this doing for me? What is the point of feeling really disappointed and criticizing myself? If I can just let these emotions go and try to actually work on the things that might prevent it, then it just helps to deal with it better next time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think it's like, what can I control and like what couldn't I control, and
Definitely.
and thinking about those those factors, and understanding that sometimes like things might not go your way, but it's not necessarily your fault. Like sometimes you can't control like the amount of sleep that you get. You might like have a poor sleep, and that's like not necessarily on you. Like it could be, I don't know, neighbors being really loud, or like cars driving by, or like you live by a train station, and those sorts of things. I think it's great to be able to, like you said, have those 5 to 10 minutes to sort of like dwell on it and reflect and be like, damn, that was like pretty shit. But then anything past that, and like this might be invalidating to people who like go through quite tough issues, such as like, I don't know, family or breakups and relationship breakdowns as well. But it's like, yeah, like you said, like taking those 5 minutes, acknowledging that, yeah, this is pretty shit, but it's like, what are you going to do to go past that?
It's like, what's the point of I guess there's feeling bad about yourself isn't really going to do anything. So as hard as it may be, I've sort of learnt to just like let go of those emotions and try to focus on the next thing that I need to do, and I guess also having something that brings purpose to your life, or I guess a goal, just something to work towards is another big thing as well, because I guess it gives you a sense that you're not insignificant, because I think a lot of my life I've grown up feeling that way, and feeling that the things I care about or the things that I'm trying to do are not significant. So I guess like this may be more geared towards people who have like lower self-esteem, lower confidence and that kind of thing. But
would you say you're one of the people that like possesses that, I guess?
Yeah, definitely. So just trying to learn that, or trying to understand that each individual is special, and you have to go out there and like do the things that you want to do. because yeah, like life has to have meaning or has to have purpose.
Definitely. I guess, the gym came along for you, but in the years leading up to that, and like as you were growing up as a kid, did you ever like think of trivial things like that? Were you always like, damn, like what have I got going for me?
Yeah, for sure. Like even in relation to lifting and powerlifting, I was really scared to let that become my identity, which obviously it's not good to have one certain thing make up your whole identity. But even when I would be around my friends who kind of just go to the gym casually, just go and like, do some curls and like talk, catch up. They would always joke about me placing more significance on the gym than like other things in my life, and I didn't want to seem like that. And in a way, it sort of spread into like just powerlifting as a whole. I didn't want to put as much effort into it because obviously I didn't want it to be like,
to like consume you.
Yeah,
in a way.
exactly. But yeah, I guess lately I've just as well as trying to branch out and find new interests and that kind of thing, I've been a bit less critical of that kind of thing because it's like,
at least you have something.
You
know, like I completely understand the whole like, oh, but like gym's my only thing that I've got going. But it's like at least you have something. Like some people just, I don't know, sit at home and eat shit,
Yeah.
Like that's like the optimistic way of looking at it, I guess. It's like, yeah, I have this thing going for me. Like maybe I'll find something else. Like maybe I'll, I don't know, meet my future partner, or like maybe, I don't know, I'll get a dog or like a pet or something, like find something that you can invest like your love into, whether that be a person or like, I guess another hobby. Like I think it's super important, and I'm glad you're able to identify that, and glad to see that you're like striving to find it. And that's like with like finding part-time jobs and stuff, like you're gonna meet people, you're gonna find your interests in that as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So how do you feel you've grown as a person in terms of like self-confidence wise? Like do you feel like you're like one of the most confident people now, or do you still feel like you've got steps to go?
Yeah, I'd say there's definitely a long way to go for me, but this whole year of just I guess working through adversity and just having low moments and that kind of thing, obviously working through a breakup as well, it's definitely taught me a lot, and I guess it's sort of it's forced me into a position where like I have to sort of, I have to find ways of dealing with these things, and find things that, make me happy and explore new interests. So yeah, I guess in that sort of in that way, I've definitely feel like I've matured through this past year.
Yeah, definitely.
And just also trying to learn or trying to like figure out myself in terms of interests. I guess that's why I've taken more of a an interest to personal training and like coaching, powerlifting coaching, because obviously I find powerlifting and like learning programming, learning technique, all that stuff really interesting, and I've seen how Chris has been able to improve my lifting, but also just be there for me as a mentor. And I definitely see the value in that, and want to be able to provide that to people who might be trying to like start lifting for the first time, or maybe want to try powerlifting.
Definitely. I think I saw this like ages ago. It's like this saying where you should find interests or hobbies that I guess make you money, first off, make you keep you fit and spread positive influence on other people. And it's just like, sounds like that's the pathway that you're heading, which is really good. And it's like, if you can have those positive impacts on people, I guess you're doing yourself a service as well. Like because I can imagine coaching is like such a rewarding experience. I've like done swim teaching and stuff, and you see kids like finally learn how to swim and like be comfortable on their back in the water, which is actually really hard. Like a lot of kids really struggle with it, and like it's so good to see that you're heading in that direction. I guess, yeah, let's talk about what is installed for you in the future. Like, what are some plans that you've got in mind?
So yeah, at the moment, pretty much, I'm looking to hopefully, complete my Cert 3 and 4 within, I don't know, the next, I was going to say hopefully like a half a year or so, because I haven't got too much on for the rest of this year. So I don't know, I guess that'll still be the goal, but definitely taking on board new people and just trialing some coaching. So yeah, I guess anyone watching this as well, like if you want a hand and
what are the credentials? No, I'm joking.
None yet. We're building up. We're building up.
If you look up Alan Not Strong on Instagram, which will be in the show notes below, this boy is very strong and very aesthetic. So if you want to head down the power building route, I would definitely hit up Alan. Like, I think his advice is invaluable, and
I'm always trying to improve on my knowledge and learn more things, and just become more well equipped with learning powerlifting technique and programming and everything all around that.
Yeah, amazing. I guess so. You got the Cert 3 and 4 going, working the 2 jobs, and you wanted to ask about social media as well.
Yeah, that's right. I actually wanted to ask you, as I think social media is definitely a big platform where you can keep people informed and reach audiences.
Yeah, I guess like in this day and age, like definitely like you see TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Like if you're not on them, like I don't know. It's like kind of weird in a way. Like I guess we grew up pretty similar age groups, like not caring about it. And then when did you get Instagram? Like,
I'd say like I don't know, like 2013ish, around that period, something like that.
How old were you? Like 20... I think I was like 12.
Yeah, or I don't know actually. When did Instagram come out?
I don't even
sometime
know.
During like middle school, I think, is when I got it.
Yeah, it's just like was such a foreign concept, and then now it's just like the norm. Like you go on your phone, it's just like go on Instagram or something like that. But yeah,
like, how did you build up the confidence to sort of like put yourself out there on different platforms? Starting like the podcast as well.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm gonna record a candid episode. It'll definitely be out by then because I'm just stockpiling some episodes at the moment. Yeah. But I think like in terms of putting yourself out there, like we're all gonna die someday. Like who gives a shit? Like what people think about. Like if I post something stupid, like I'll own up to it. Like if it's a stupid opinion or I say something like dumb on the podcast, like I'll own up to it. But it's just like it's letting go of I guess like what people care about you. Like I think my biggest fear, I had a YouTube channel when I was in year 7. Like, I just made these little skits. Like, Ryan Heger was like one of my all time favorites. Like, just making little skits at home with my best mate, and like got a lot of shit for it in high school. So, I guess like from 7 to 9, 10, year 10 even, like I just stopped making videos and stuff, even though it was like like a passion of mine. Like I actually really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed editing videos and just like making the text look like cool and having all these effects. And I guess it started from there. And then I guess I wasn't always like this. Like when I grew up prep to year 4, like I was so quiet. I was like one of the most quiet kids. And then like one day I just found my voice and been growing since then. And in year 10 I was like, let's just start a podcast. Like I see all these like memes about like white private school kids like chatting to their best mates. So they're like, oh, this is sick, we should start a podcast. And like so many people have sent me that meme. Shout out to those people. But it's like it's pretty funny. And I think as I've gotten older and the podcast has grown as well. I say grown, but like we're on like 200 followers. I just really enjoy chatting to people like yourself and like all those people on the wall behind you. There and lots and lots more. And just like getting to know them, getting to know their story. I think like I just really enjoy getting that out as well because, I think we all have a story to tell. Like we've all been through a lot and should be documented. In some sort, like what one person might know or like have experienced, someone else who might be struggling can go through, or someone else can relate and like smile or laugh or I don't know, just take something from it, and that's like the aim of the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh god, podcast. Jeez, ran out of breath. But in terms of like building the confidence, it's just like if you don't like fuck with the content, like you can unfollow. There's no obligation for you to be following. Like,
That's true. Yeah.
and if you have nothing positive to say, then I feel like don't say it at all.
Yeah.
Or if you have something negative to say, like, I feel like that's more of a reflection on the person than what you're trying to do. Because like, when was it not cool to try? I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I guess that's my like take on it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think it's funny because like, I guess when we were all kids, we're like, you know, you don't care what people around you think of you, and it's like it's sort of something that you develop throughout school, I guess, and
definitely
those periods.
We're actually like, I think when we're born, we're not scared of anything except for the dark, I believe,
okay.
because like that's what we're born into, and then we just don't care about anything, and then I guess it's the people you surround yourself with. Like, I'm not friends with many people from high school because that's just the way it's turned out, and then like now I'm close friends with like people from uni, people I powerlift with and like go to the gym with. Like, I think it's also about like separating yourself from the people that put you down and don't support you with like the things that you do, and then that's where you'll attract people who do support you and like are 100% all for like whatever you're doing, and that's like why I have the confidence to put myself out there.
Sure.
Yeah,
it's good insight because like it's definitely something that I'd want to, you know, give it a crack at in the future.
Why not? It's like, it's so accessible, everything's free. Like, Instagram Reels is there, like you can literally just film anything and like, I don't know, put it to a trending sound, you might like pop up on the For You page. Or like TikTok as well. It's just like, I don't know, film yourself doing a stupid dance or like saying something like relatable or funny, and it's just like people will fuck with you, like it will hit the right people. And like, who's to tell you what you can and can't do, I guess. Anything else? Did you want to leave anything for the listeners?
No, I think we covered what we wanted to, which is good.
Alan, it's been an absolute honor getting you in the pod. I feel like it's been a long time in the making, no? We've been trying to like work this together for definitely, and
a
then
while now, but,
I mean, I'm glad that like the break happened, and then you've been able to, I guess, grow from that and learn it. It's good to see that like you're doing well. So I really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on, man. It's been really nice chatting with you.
Thank you. Hope we can lift soon. I think I'm going to move down to Training Day Burwood, but we'll see how we go.
Wait, are you just training at home now, or?
Just training at home and Zap Fitness because it's $10 a week for machines. So it's pretty chill. But Training Day is pretty cheap, so might move down.
Sure. I'll see you there more.
Thank you so much. Be sure to follow at Life with Lamb Podcast on Instagram, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
Sweet. Thank you. See ya.